French people all speak French together, and they all have fun doing that, but they won't let you in. If you speak to them in French, they will reply to you in English. How frustrating! Now, you might say, Luca, you are French. How can you even relate to that? That's not a problem that only happens with French. That's a problem that is pretty international. I've had this happen to me when I was practicing my Spanish, Portuguese, and Ukrainian. It always happened, unless you're speaking English, because that's the de facto language of the world. I will share with you the ways I have found to mitigate that problem and the ways I found to get around it so that you can finally put your French to the test in France. Let's get started. Things don't have to be this way, and they will change, trust me. But first, let's see why this happens in the first place. Because if you understand something, you can't hate it. And I'm pretty sure that French people replying to you in English has provoked some sort of angry or negative emotions in you. I know it has for me with other languages. So why does that happen? Let's be clear, it will almost never happen when it comes to making friends or speaking with people that you already know, because that could be fixed very easily if you can just ask them to speak in French with you, and then that's fixed. It always happens when there's some sort of service involved, when it is when you are a customer. Either it is when you go to a bakery to order a baguette, or when you're ordering drinks, or maybe you are asking your direction to someone in the street. It is when the interactions are impersonal. These people are working or helping you out, and they don't want to waste their time or energy, and they don't even know you speak French. They don't have any idea of your level in French. All they want to do is to be quick and efficient so that they can move on with their day. If you are in a big city, these people might even have been instructed to speak English with anyone who is non-francophone or not French speaking. So that's what they do. The moment they understand you're not French, they will switch to English almost automatically, because in their mind, non-French speaking equals speaking English. So that's what they will do. And remember, it is not personal. They don't care about your French, they don't care about you. They don't even know how well you speak French. It might feel like it. It might feel like it's a criticism or an attack on your French. I know I have felt this way, but it's not. It's truly impersonal. The vast majority of tourists only know 2 or 3 French words, and they will always start with them in any conversation, but they don't have any French past that point, you know what I mean? So people don't really know that you speak French. And in almost every case, speaking English is the easier option. So that's the why. Even with that, I hope that this video will bring you something, and that it will bring you some sort of peace of mind and understanding of why this happens. Now, moving on to the tips. How can you mitigate that? How can you get around it? What can you do about it? The main idea with all of these tips is that they have to think that speaking French with you is the easier option. It kind of sucks because a lot of the times you are going to be speaking to people for the first time, people you don't know, and it raises anxiety quite a bit. It's a bit anxiety inducing to go speak to someone for the first time you don't know, and that's when you will have to be performing to show that you know how to speak French. So preparing what you have to say can be a good option so that it can, alleviate a bit of the anxiety that is around speaking French. In most cases, the real reason why they will speak English with you and not French is because you don't understand. So that brings me to tip number 1. Do not answer quoi ever. If you don't understand something, which will happen, I mean, most people stutter once in a while, most people mispronounce things, they're human too. They will sometimes, it's not just you, sometimes it won't be very intelligible. So when that happens, you cannot just answer quoi, because that means that you have understood nothing. You haven't understood anything at all. No. What you need to do is restate what you didn't understand or reformulate what you didn't understand, and then ask a specific question. Or ask about what one word means. That way, it's way easier for them to just explain to you what that word is or reformulate rather than redoing everything in English. Sometimes you will be the first person speaking. I know, scary. So that brings me to tip number 2. When you haven't been speaking for a few minutes, or you've just been, thinking about other things, it's hard to move your mouth for those first few words. So what you want to do is practice saying what you're about to say without using any voice. but just pronouncing whatever you want to say. So just like saying it. See what I mean? It'll make you easier for you to be understandable and have a clear French. Tip number 3, don't be ask-affirming. When you do speak, you cannot be asking a question and affirming something at the same time. Basically, when people don't speak French well and they're not confident in their language abilities, they will say something, but it will sound like they're asking a question because they're low-key like, you know, seeing if the other person is understanding or they're trying to see if what they're saying is correct. But no, you have to be confident, especially when you're dealing with service workers, because, you know, like I said, they want to be quick and efficient. Do not say something like, je voudrais cette baguette de pain, s'il vous plaît. Because you see how my tone rose there? What you want is a tone that's falling. Je voudrais cette baguette de pain, s'il vous plaît. Like, you know, you have to be somewhat assertive, somewhat confident at least. Also pauses when you are speaking, that signals that you're not confident or that you don't really know how to speak French. So try to say things at once. I know it's hard, but try maybe making sentences that are shorter. Tip number 4. We've been talking about non-personal interactions, but they don't need to stay non-personal. So say just a little bit about yourself, about your story, just give it a little bit of context, and that way it will make it non-personal. This will do 2 things to you. Number 1, it will, because you're gonna be saying something about yourself that you're comfortable with, you will actually be able to show that you speak French. That's the first thing. The second thing is that they will actually feel some kind of purpose in helping you speak French and practicing. It doesn't have to be complicated. Just like say that you've been learning French and that you want to practice in your name or whatever. Tip number 5, big cities have a lot of French people who know a bit of English or who think they know a bit of English, but smaller cities, 50,000 or less, or even villages, there's not as many people who speak English there. And they feel more pride in French in general, and they will be more likely to speak to you in French. Even if you freak out and you panic, they won't even try to speak English. And maybe try to speak with older people. These older people are usually more inclined to just strike a conversation, but you can always go and talk to them about the weather or anything. Just like I said, you could always say that you're looking to practice French with someone. And I have a bonus tip for you. To meet people and form very deep connections, a great way for that is hitchhiking. If you're outside of a city and you're trying to get somewhere, hitchhiking will make you be next to a stranger for 10, 20, 30 minutes or more, and then you'll have to speak with them. You'll be stuck with them in the car, so you'll have plenty of practice, and that's a great way to meet people. Just try not doing it alone. I don't recommend doing it alone, and always trust your instinct. I will let you in on a little secret. It might look like I know what I'm talking about, but I have more questions than answers. And maybe you could help me answer some of my questions. I will put a Google form in the video description. On there'll be different questions about your level of French and what you're struggling with or what you find easy, all of that. And those are questions I'm gathering more and more data on so that I could understand everything better. If you could fill it, maybe, that would help me a lot. Thank you so much. Comment if you have any questions. C'était Lucas Léandry. Merci et à bientôt.